City Trucker 101. Yes, sir. I'm sick as a dog, but I don't care. I'm going to do this anyways. Why? Because of my dire commitment to you guys. Okay. I've been asked, and I keep not doing it, so I'm going to do it here. But I'm not going to get into great detail. That's the hours of service, okay? I'm going to tell you the Canadian hours of service, or the US hours of service, and the Canadian hours of service. I'll explain a little bit the differences and what I, as a Canadian driver, have to go by, okay? So, to start off, US hours of service. You have a 14-hour window each day, okay? In that 14-hour window, you're allowed to drive 11 hours. So let's say your day starts at 7 a.m., okay? You have to stop no matter what. And I mean no matter what. There is no extending it or anything. No matter what. By 9 p.m. 14 hours from the time you start. Within that 14 hours, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., you are allowed to drive 11 hours. Okay? 11 hours driving. You can't do 11 hours in 1 minute, you're in violation. It's got to be 11 hours, no more. You can do 10 hours, you can do 9 hours, you can do 8 hours. Doesn't matter. You cannot exceed 11 hours. You cannot exceed that 14-hour window. Also, you're allowed up to a maximum of 13 hours on duty. Okay? So let's say you drive, I don't know, we'll say 9 hours that day, or you sit at the shipper for 4 hours. Okay? Well, the most you can drive now is 9 hours from there. Okay? I know what you're saying. Well, you said you can drive 11. No. A, you got your 14-hour window. B, you're allowed a total of on-duty and driving time of 13 hours. 11 hours driving and an additional 2 hours of on-duty time, giving you 13. Okay? You can do 4, 5, 10 hours on-duty time, but it still cannot exceed the 13 combined between your driving and your on-duty status. And you can't exceed the 14-hour window, okay? Now, there's a few other little provisions in there we're not going to get into. This is for your basic over-the-road driving, okay? Then you must take a 10-hour break. A consecutive 10-hour break. It can be split up between sleeper berth and off-duty time, okay? Do not, when you're on the road, guys, put it all in off-duty unless you're staying in a hotel and you have a hotel receipt, okay? Otherwise, just put it in sleeper berth. Now, I know there's a few crackheads out there that think that once you put it in sleeper berth, you're not allowed to get out of your truck to go to the bathroom. Guys, take your head, railroad track, big bump. Take your head, put it in the door jamb, and slam the door a couple of times, okay? You guys are just like full of you know what. Because you can get in and out of your truck, you can go into the truck stop, you can go use the facility, you can go to the restaurant. You do not need to switch between the two, okay? Just put yourself in sleeper berth, 10 hours consecutive off, boom. Now don't start your day at 9 hours and 59 minutes of being off time. That's the thing with the e-logs. You start, if you've only had 9 hours and 59 minutes and you start your day, boom, you're in violation. You didn't take your 10 consecutive off. Okay, so got to be very careful with that. Okay, Canadian hours of service. Very similar in a sense. You're still only allowed 11 hours driving, but when you're in Canada and staying in Canada, you have a 16-hour window, okay, within which you can drive. You can do not 11 hours driving. What am I talking about? Okay, so let's start over. Canadian hours of service. You're allowed 13 hours of driving, 14 hours total on-duty time, driving and, on duty, not driving. And you can do it within a 16-hour window, okay? Now, you're also only have to take a consecutive 8 hours off. However, if you take only 8 hours off, you have to show another 2 hours in breaks the next day. And I think it's a minimum 15-minute increments. I'm not 100% sure. It could be 30 minutes. I'm not sure. But it's never a problem with me because I always stop for like an hour and a half for lunch. And then usually somewhere in between in the day, I've stopped for another half an hour. So not a big deal. So I usually qualify there. Now, here's where the problem lies. Going from Canada to the US, Oh, shut up. You have to watch that you don't exceed the 11 hours. So if I'm taking a load here in Canada and I've driven 11 hours and 30 minutes, because we're allowed 13 hours here, I can't cross the border. Also, I can't cross the border unless I've had 10 hours consecutive off. Okay? Now, I know there's some variations to that, but that's, you know, the easiest way to do it if you're a Canadian driver is make sure that you've had, you don't exceed your 11 hours when you cross the border, and you've had at least 10 hours off the night before. Okay? That way you won't run into any problems whatsoever. Now, the reset. Now, I know I've said it before. You guys will see it in a future video, but I'm going to say it here again. Okay? Canada, it's 36 hours for the reset to qualify. US, it's 34. Now, here's the deal. Canadian drivers, if you're in the US and you do your reset in the US, you need to do 36, irregardless that the US is only 34-hour reset, because if you don't do the 36, you come across the border into Canada and that reset is out the window, you don't qualify, okay? But the good thing is, in Canada, it's only 70 hours in 7 days, where in the US, it's 70 hours in 8 days. So, with that being said, you can recap your hours and you'll probably still be okay, but the reset wouldn't count. Okay? US, you only can do 70 hours in 8 days, so a lot of times what happens is you've hit your 70 hours by your 7th day, you can sit 24 hours, wait till the 8th day is over, go on the 9th day, you'll have recapped hours from day 1, and you'll be alright. That's when you can't get if you can't get a full 34-hour reset in for the US drivers. But Canadian drivers, you got to take the 36. It's only an extra 2 hours. It's not very hard to figure out. It's a full 24-hour shift and a 12-hour shift. Boom, you got your 36. So let's say you stop at, I don't know, you stop your day at 4 p.m. and you're out of hours, you got to take a 36. Well, 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. the next day is 24. And then that 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. is another 12. So you've completed your 36. So, you know, it goes by pretty quick, really. So you're really only sitting a day. Did you have to stop anyways? So, guys, got to watch your 36s. Anyway, that's just a quick rundown on the hours of service. I believe I covered it. I hope I did. I know some of you guys might have some questions. Go ahead, ask them. I'll try to answer them. That's it. That's all.